Hi guys, I'm back. I decided to make a few parts of this. I'm going to make a few different types of wine over the course of this video, so I will kind of walk you through the beginnings of how we're making each one, and hopefully you'll get a better idea and just how easy it is to make some really yummy wine that you'll enjoy. This is wine or cider, however you want to call it. Okay, so here you don't have to do this. This is just something I'm doing, is spinning the yeast. If you don't have a magnetic stirrer, you're not going to be able to do that, right? So the reason you spin it, you can spin it for a couple of days, 2 or 3 days, and that will make the yeast get started, and that they'll go through the beginning stages, and it'll already produce a bunch of yeast, like you're waiting for it to multiply and get the right amount of yeast going in your wine that you have, or mash or wash, whatever. And this gives it a head start. But by doing it, just spinning it a little bit for a few hours, we're oxygenating the yeast. It's in more water than it needs to be. It has a pinch of sugar in there to help it start growing well. And it's just a good way to get everything started and make sure you have a healthy fermentation to get going. Let's see. So I'm going to use the other one you saw. We used apple juice. This one is a strawberry kiwi juice, and on the ingredients, it has apple juice in it. It has pear juice in it. It has kiwi juice in it. It has strawberry juice in it, and so it should make a really yummy wine, I think. We'll give it a try. And we're gonna, one of the things you gotta watch out for when you buy juice like this is don't get anything that has any preservatives in it. You're okay with if it says pectin on it, that's normal. Sorbic acid, that's perfectly fine, but just don't make sure it's 100% natural juice. And this one says no sugar added, which is fine. Some of them, most juices will say that now. Let's see. If it says sugar added, I would probably stay away from it because it's probably more like Kool-Aid. You could get frozen stuff, which I'm going to show you in the next segment of this video. We're going to make a pineapple brandy, or I'm sorry, pineapple cider. So what we've done, we took a gravity reading with a hydrometer. Totally not necessary, but it gives you an idea what to do. And we got a gravity reading of 1.050. So that's how much sugar is in this. And that's going to give you, if you follow on your hydrometer, here's the, let's see, there's the numbers. See, there's 1 point, so now to 1.050, and then if you follow that around, that correlates to 6.5% ABV, and that tells you that if you fermented this down to where the gravity reading was 0, 6.5% of this bottle would be ethyl alcohol. So that's really, hope that makes sense to everybody. And we had to take some out, and because we're going to make room to put in some yeast, and that's definitely way too much yeast for this. This is going to be for the pineapple as well. And some sugar, and I got a pound of raw sugar. You don't have to use raw sugar. I used the brand the dollar store has, and it costs like $2 for 4 pounds of raw sugar. It's really good sugar, but raw sugar from the name brand grocery store is pretty expensive. You can use table sugar, and then we're going to add that into this. So we had to make some room, and then we'll take a gravity reading again and see where we're at. We're shooting for somewhere between 10 and 12% ABV. And then we'll add enough juice back in to get it, say, up to there. And I don't have a bung that will fit in this with an air lock. So I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way, and we're just going to stick a balloon over the top of it that has a couple holes poked in it with a needle. And that will allow the balloon to swell up, the gases to escape so it won't explode. It'll keep everything nice and sterile in here. And by using this bottle that it came in, it was already sterilized when it came from the store. So it's just a real easy way to do it. You don't have to worry about straining it afterwards. You will have to siphon it off or just gently pour it because you'll have all your yeast and everything will settle down at the bottom. But for the most part, you'll have most of a gallon of some yummy wine. Okay, and with that, I will come back in a little later. We're pouring the sugar in the bottle and using a funnel. That way, because you can see it would make a big mess just trying to pour out of a bowl in there. And just makes life a little easier. Okay, we added a pound of sugar and shook it all up until it was dissolved. And you can see our gravity reading is 1.1505. So if we spin that around a little bit and then we take a look at it, we are at about 14% ABV, which would definitely be a dessert wine. So, and the way you would go about that is you would ferment it down till it's not quite finished fermenting. Then you would stop the fermentation so it would have a sweet wine. But we're going to ferment it down to 0. And see, we got to add this. This was sterilized, so we can put this back into here, and we'll add some of this juice that we took out after we put the yeast, and we feel like we've got a little bit of headroom for it to expand and not spill over and make a big mess. And that will cut our ABV down to back into the 12% range, which is what we want. You could go with 14, but it's going to be it's going to take a long time for that to ferment all the way out, and you're getting close to where the yeast are going to not ferment it all the way out. But you can still maybe go quite a bit higher. I think this yeast goes up to 18%, but and I've actually got it to go to 20 and one time 25, but that's really pushing it. It takes forever to ferment that out. We don't want to wait no more than 2 weeks tops, right? Anyway, so let's get back to it, and I'll come back in a minute. Okay, everything's all put together, and the gallon of strawberry kiwi juice, which is really apple, pear, strawberry kiwi juice. It's got, you can taste the strawberry pretty good. The kiwi, got to search for. You can definitely get some apple out of it, so it should be pretty good. This is a 5-gallon bucket of just apple wine or apple cider, hard cider, whatever you want to call it. And we will. That stuff is just so yummy. I made a video and I lost it somewhere of me tasting that, and I decided to make another one. This one's got apple juice and dark brown sugar in it. So looking forward to that. I think that'll be good. The other one I made, I used just the raw sugar, and it turned out so yummy. That's what I made the brandy out of, and I used the reclaimed yeast out of this. So I took the yeast out of the original apple wine that I made the brandy from and separated it, and put it back in here, and now it's fermenting away very nicely, as you can see. See, you don't have to have a special bubbler. They're not very much. You can get like 2 for $5 off Amazon. And if you just drilled a hole in the lid that was on this this jug and stuck it in there and stuck a little epoxy resin, or I don't know, there'd be several ways you could go about sealing it up, and then you would have a bubbler. But you can just use a balloon, poke a couple, like 3 holes with a needle in the balloon so it doesn't blow up. And let's see, our final gravity was 1.095, which made a 12% ABV. So it'll be a nice, pretty stout wine when we're done. And let's see, what else was I gonna say? I can't remember. oh, you could use you don't have to use, we used a brewer's yeast in this one. It's called Daddy Yeast. Distillers something dry yeast. Distillers activated dry yeast, Daddy. But you could just go get some of that Flashman's bread yeast from the grocery store to make this. And like this will taste something similar to like Angry Orchard without the fizz in it. But you can put fizz in it as well, and maybe I'll make a video one of these days and show you how to do that. But it tastes good without, just like it is, without doing anything special to it. And let's see, in here, let's see, the temperature is 73. So that's a very good temperature to distill at. That way it's fermenting fairly slow. It's well, and that depends on your yeast. There's a few strains of yeast, like specialty yeast, that's designed to distill at real high temperatures. But your average yeast, that's a good temperature for it. It doesn't work too fast. If it gets stressed, if it works too hard, it creates off flavors, and this helps prevent that. Let's see. I'm also gonna make a pineapple cider, and I'll show everything when it's done, but I'm not gonna make it go watch through the whole thing again. It's gonna be the same process, but anyway, I just want to show you how simple it is to make a wine at home, and it's fun, it's gratifying. Let's see, it was probably $3 for the juice. A pound of sugar is $1. A package of balloons at the dollar store is probably not even $1. It might be $1. And I think a thing of yeast that's got 5 things in it's like $5. You might be able to buy a single one for not very much. So we got 8, 9, 10. So for $10 you get a gallon of cider, hard cider, and the 6-pack of Angry Orchards costs you $6. And in this, now if you move up 5 gallons, I probably have $25, and I'm getting 5 gallons. So, but I already had the fermenter and all that stuff, so that's a little bit more expense. But you see where I'm getting at. You can make some stuff that you'll really enjoy for not too much money, and it's fun to make. So with that, I am going to let y'all go. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and love to hear your comments. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Lots of love. Bye.